Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you went in there? Or maybe you found yourself reaching for a word that just won't come, even though it's right on the tip of your tongue. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone, and you're definitely not losing your mind. These little moments happen to all of us, especially as we get older. But here's the good news: your brain is a muscle, and just like the rest of your body, it can stay sharp and strong with a little bit of daily exercise. And I'm not talking about hours of crossword puzzles or complicated memory games. Just 10 minutes a day. That's it. 10 intentional minutes to train your brain, boost your clarity, and help you feel more in control of your thoughts. Because no matter your age, your mind still has an incredible capacity to grow, adapt, and thrive. You just need to give it a little attention. Think of your brain like a garden. If you water it, give it sunlight, and pull a few weeds now and then, it flourishes. But if you leave it unattended, the weeds start to creep in. That's when forgetfulness settles, focus slips, and things start to feel a bit more sluggish than they used to. But it doesn't have to stay that way. Today, we're going to talk about how you can start training your brain in just 10 minutes a day, using simple, practical activities that fit right into your life. Nothing fancy. No expensive apps. Just small changes that create big results over time. Let's start with one of the most underrated brain exercises of all: conscious, focused reading. Not skimming headlines or scrolling through news on your phone, but actually sitting down with a book or article, even for just a few minutes. When you read and really focus on understanding what you're reading, your brain starts firing up. It has to process language, hold onto ideas, and connect one sentence to the next. That's powerful exercise for memory, comprehension, and mental stamina. And don't worry if you're not reading novels cover to cover. You could pick up a magazine article about gardening, a short biography of someone you admire, or even reread an old favorite from your shelf. The point isn't the material, it's the focus. Give your brain something to chew on. And over time, that daily reading habit strengthens the mental muscles that help you remember conversations, keep track of tasks, and feel mentally sharper throughout your day. Now, let's talk about something that might surprise you: learning something new. It doesn't have to be big. You don't need to learn a whole new language or master the piano, unless you want to. But even just picking up a new word, trying a new recipe, or figuring out how to use a new feature on your phone can give your brain the kind of stimulation it craves. Here's why that matters: the brain loves novelty. When you learn something new, you're creating new neural pathways, like little roads in your brain that help information travel faster. It doesn't matter how old you are, those pathways can still grow. You can still challenge your brain and watch it respond. Think about the last time you tried something unfamiliar. Maybe it was learning how to video call with your grandkids or trying a different route on your morning walk. Remember how you had to pay a little more attention? That's your brain stretching, adapting, growing stronger. It's like lifting a slightly heavier weight at the gym, but for your mind. And don't underestimate how encouraging that is. Every time you try something new and succeed, even just a little, it builds confidence. It reminds you that you're still learning, still growing, and still very much alive. That's the kind of motivation that keeps us sharp well into our 70s, 80s, and beyond. Here's another one: conversation. Good, honest, thoughtful conversation is a workout for the brain. When you talk to someone and really listen, your brain is doing all kinds of things at once. It's processing language, reading tone and facial expressions, remembering past conversations, thinking of responses. It's like a full-body workout for your mind. So don't let a quiet day go by without reaching out. Call a friend. Chat with the cashier. Start a conversation in the comments below this video. Every time you connect with another person, you're not just being social, you're building brain power. And if you're someone who spends more time alone, that's okay. You can still talk to yourself out loud, reflect on your day, or even keep a journal. Speaking or writing your thoughts forces your brain to organize them, which keeps your thinking clear and intentional. These small daily habits, reading with focus, trying new things, connecting through conversation, they don't take hours. You can do them in 10 minutes or less. But when you do them every day, they begin to add up. They keep the mind flexible, the thoughts sharp, and the spirit alive. Now that we've talked about how focused reading, new experiences, and meaningful conversation can sharpen your mind, let's explore even more ways you can train your brain in just a few minutes a day. Sometimes, the simplest things can be the most powerful. Let's talk about music for a moment. You might not think of music as a brain workout, but it absolutely is. Listening to music, really listening, activates multiple areas of the brain at once. It stirs memory, stimulates emotion, and often brings up moments from the past with vivid clarity. And if you sing along or tap your fingers to the rhythm, you're getting both a mental and physical boost. Think about a song you loved in your 20s or 30s. When it comes on the radio, doesn't it bring back a rush of memories? Where you were, who you were with, how you felt, it's all right there. That's not a coincidence. Music connects deeply with the parts of our brain responsible for memory and emotion. So next time you're feeling a little foggy, put on a tune you love and let it take you somewhere. And if you feel like humming along or even dancing in the kitchen, even better. It's a joyful, natural way to keep your mind and mood lifted. Another thing you might not expect to train your brain? Walking. But not just walking for exercise, walking while observing. Try stepping outside for just 10 minutes with the intention to notice 5 new things. It could be a flower you've never seen bloom, a crack in the sidewalk, the sound of a bird you can't quite identify. When you focus your attention like that, you're practicing mindfulness. And mindfulness, as it turns out, is incredibly good for your brain. It helps reduce stress, sharpen focus, and even improve memory. It teaches your brain to stay present, rather than drifting off into a fog of distractions. And here's the best part, you don't have to sit cross-legged or light a candle. You can just walk, breathe, and pay attention to your surroundings. That alone can rewire how your brain responds to the world. Of course, there's something else that's just as important as mental activity, and that's rest. Yes, resting your brain is actually part of training it. Because our minds, just like our muscles, need time to recover, recharge, and process. And unfortunately, many of us aren't giving our brains the break they need. If you find yourself constantly watching TV, flipping through your phone, or multitasking, your brain might be tired, even if you don't feel it. That kind of constant stimulation actually wears down your ability to focus and remember. So one of the most powerful brain exercises you can try? Sitting quietly for a few minutes without doing anything. Just let your thoughts wander. Or stare out the window and daydream. It might sound odd, but this kind of mental white space helps your brain sort through what it's learned and reset for the rest of the day. You may even find that answers to things you've been trying to remember suddenly pop into your mind. That's because your brain finally has room to think without noise. You don't have to meditate in the traditional sense if that's not your thing. But taking even 5 to 10 minutes to simply be still, breathe, and do nothing can work wonders. It's like a little mental nap, short, refreshing, and surprisingly energizing. And let's not forget the power of writing things down. Keeping a small notebook or journal can do more than help you remember what you need at the grocery store. It actually boosts your cognitive function. When you write things by hand, your brain has to slow down and think about what it's doing. That improves comprehension, reinforces memory, and helps you organize your thoughts. Try jotting down 1 or 2 things each day. Maybe it's a new word you learned, a memory that came to mind, or something that made you smile. Not only does it give your brain a focused task, but it also creates a little record of your mental growth over time. It's a way of saying, I'm still learning. I'm still alive. And my thoughts matter. And trust me, they do. Your thoughts, your stories, your wisdom, they're all valuable. You've lived a life full of lessons and laughter and maybe even a few heartaches too. That kind of life brings with it a deep intelligence that doesn't fade, it just needs to be exercised a bit more gently and intentionally. You see, training your brain after 70 isn't about trying to be who you were at 30. It's about honoring who you are now, and giving yourself the best chance to stay clear-minded, independent, and joyful. Every minute you spend reading, learning, walking with awareness, resting your mind, or reflecting in a notebook, those minutes are gifts. They are a quiet rebellion against the idea that growing older means slowing down in every way. You're proving, day by day, that you're still growing, still exploring, still deeply engaged with life. So whether you spend your 10 minutes reading a new poem, calling a friend for a meaningful chat, walking through your neighborhood and noticing something new, or simply letting yourself rest without distraction, know that you are training your brain in a way that matters. In a way that protects your memory, strengthens your focus, and keeps that beautiful mind of yours active and engaged. And now, let's take all this energy we've gathered and explore a few more powerful ways to keep your brain sharp and your spirit strong as the years go on. You know, one of the most underestimated brain exercises is conversation. A real, meaningful chat, not just "how are you" and "I'm fine," but the kind of talk where you laugh, share a memory, or tell a story. When you're having a good conversation, your brain is doing something incredible. It's recalling words, forming ideas, listening actively, and reacting all at once. Even better, when you're talking with someone who knows you well, like an old friend or a family member, your brain starts connecting dots from long ago. You might suddenly remember the name of that neighbor from 40 years back, or the funny thing your kids did on a vacation. And when that memory clicks into place, it's like a little spark of joy. A reminder that your mind is still beautifully alive. So don't underestimate the power of connection. Even a 10-minute phone call can be brain food. Try making it a habit. Once a day, call someone you care about. Ask them a question. Share a story. Laugh together. That time you spend connecting with another person could do more for your brain than any crossword puzzle ever could. Now, while we're talking about connection, there's another practice that nourishes both the brain and the heart, and that's gratitude. Yes, simply taking a few moments each day to think about what you're thankful for. It might sound simple, maybe even a little cliché, but research shows it works. Gratitude shifts your brain into a more positive state, helps reduce stress, and actually strengthens areas of the brain linked to emotional resilience and focus. You don't need a fancy journal. Just sit quietly for a moment and think, what's something I'm thankful for today? Maybe it's a phone call from your granddaughter, the way the sun came through the window this morning, or just the fact that you woke up feeling good. Whatever it is, give yourself time to feel it. Let that feeling settle in. The more often you practice gratitude, the more naturally your brain begins to look for the good, even on hard days. And that kind of thinking? That's a powerful tool for keeping your mind sharp and your mood strong. Another wonderful way to train your brain is through creativity. No, you don't have to be an artist or a poet or a musician. Creativity isn't about talent, it's about expression. And that expression can be as simple as doodling, knitting, telling a story, rearranging your living room, or even trying a new recipe. When you engage your creative side, you activate parts of the brain that often go unused in daily routines. You challenge your mind to think in new ways, to problem solve, to experiment. And you give yourself a safe space to play, which is something we don't do nearly enough as we get older. So let yourself explore. Try something new. Make something just for the joy of it. Not because it has to be perfect or useful, just because it feels good to try. You might be surprised at how refreshed and mentally alive you feel afterward. Now, before we wrap up, I want you to remember one thing: you don't have to do all of this at once. Training your brain isn't about checking off a list or following a strict routine. It's about giving yourself small moments, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, where you choose to engage, to notice, to reflect, or to connect. Those minutes matter. They build up. And over time, they help create a life that feels fuller, more present, and more joyful. The truth is, staying mentally sharp after 70 isn't just possible, it's completely within your reach. You don't need expensive apps or complicated schedules. All it takes is a bit of intention and a willingness to show up for yourself, one small step at a time. So, whether it's through music, writing, walking, resting, talking, or creating, every choice you make to nurture your brain is a gift to yourself. A way of saying, I still matter. My mind still matters. And you do matter. More than you know. Your thoughts, your voice, your memories, they are part of what makes this world richer. So keep going. Keep growing. Keep choosing those 10 minutes each day as an act of care, of courage, and of curiosity. If this video spoke to you in any way, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below. What's one brain-boosting habit you'd like to try starting today? I read every comment, and your story might inspire someone else watching, too. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more uplifting, practical tips just like this. We're building a community of people who believe that age is just a number and that our minds can keep shining, no matter how many candles are on the cake. So here's to you. Here's to a sharp mind, a full heart, and a life that keeps unfolding with beauty and purpose. You've got this. And I'm cheering you on every step of the way.